Guys, if you watched my Pumpkinhead videos, you know that I love a good creature design. I love creature feature movies. And I don't want to give up on a dope creature design. Jeepers Creepers guy, JC, he's got a dope creature design. But Jeepers Creepers 3 is so fucking bad that, oh god, cannot, the opposite of a recommendation. A threat. You don't want to see that movie. And I was like, you know what? Comics coming out, I'll give it a shot because I believe in him. And I mean, he's like the most modern new monster we've gotten. I feel like that's accurate to say. I feel like everything else is just like rehashing or just regular monsters or whatever, but this is like an actual original monster, and we can't throw him away because of a bad movie. A scary movie that's filmed during the day? I don't know. It's been done, but I don't like it. And just one fun fact. The director of Jeepers Creepers was found guilty of possessing and making child pornography like 20 years ago. How fun is that fact? Okay, so let's get into it. We see, it's very, very, you know, spooky, I guess. And you know where the crows go. Our boy JC is not too far behind. I love that his initials are JC, because it's like, most people when they say JC, they're thinking like, Jesus, but not here. And we see this. This is a pretty cool page. Oh, something is amiss with our boy. The way he's drawn, like this comic isn't very stellar in the art, but they make this guy look good. It's kind of like with Pumpkinhead. Like, everything else in the Pumpkinhead book is a little like, so-so, but when it comes to Pumpkinhead, they pull out all the stops. But so he crash lands, thwack, with this, or is that supposed to be, yeah, I guess, thwack. Whack. Whack. Okay, so we see JC, he gets up, he's a little staggered, and he's missing a hand, which in Jeepers Creepers 3 movie, again, do not watch it. Or watch it at your own risk. You're going to be disappointed. It's not even so bad, it's good. And a guy has like this weird hairpiece in it that looks like a plateau. That's fucked up. But in that movie they have a severed hand, so his hand was severed at some point. But in Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2, I don't remember him not having both hands, but it's been a minute. So we see him walking around. He's got one hand. He's an amputee. He's possibly a war veteran. And he's, you know, doesn't give a fuck about barbed wires. And then we see like that? That's dope looking. And then suddenly he gets some irises, and they're the most beautiful blue eyes I've ever seen. And it makes me think, you know, but beneath all this dead corpse skin and sharp teeth, there's a handicapped man in there with beautiful blue eyes. Okay, so he sees a barn, and you know he's got an affinity for barns. He's like Southern girls and photo shoots, or Southern people in weddings. If there's a barn around, they're gonna find it. They're attuned to rotting wood. They'll find it. I've passed by so many barns and seen people taking wedding photographs. I almost want to ruin their day by yelling at them, but then I'm like, you're better than that, Lindsay. And I don't think I am better than that, but I try to trick myself into it. But so he goes into a barn, he sees like a sheet covering a thing, and it looks like his truck, and he smiles, but his smile looks like, you know, looks like teeth gritting. And then we're introduced to this guy, Devin, who is sleeping, and then, oh god! The stewardess wakes him up. And apparently he's the last one left on a plane, and he's like, damn, that Xanax knocked me on my ass! And you know what, I've never taken Xanax before, you know, because I'm not cool enough. I'm not. But I feel like if you just coming out of a Xanax-induced sleep, you're not going to be like, ah, god! A dainty woman touched me. Because you know stewardesses, they're doing like the lightest of touches. Because, you know, they don't want to get fired for whatever reason. And also, you're gross. You're on a plane. Everyone on a plane is gross. And we learn his name is Devin. And everyone's like, thanks for playing with us. And the pilot's mean mugging him super hard. I don't understand. I guess because he was the last one. And he's like, oh, thanks. And he arrives to customs, so we know he's in a foreign country. And he's like, what's the purpose of your visit? And if you don't know what that means, it's just, you're supposed to say business or pleasure. But he hits the guy with this. Oh, I'm a grad student. I'm here working on my thesis. Already too much talking. The cross-cultural appearances of the dragon in North American mythology from the Aztecs to today. Wait, does that even work as a thesis? The cross-cultural appearances of the dragon, okay, in North American mythology from the Aztecs to today. Okay, so he's going from Aztecs to present day dragon myths, which I'm going to be honest, I don't think we're making any more new dragon myths. But, you know, I don't spend a lot of times in caves and caverns and dragon cults, so I could be wrong. Devin, I think your thesis is a little bit on shaky grounds a little bit, but you know what? You do you. So he's like, business or pleasure? Business. He stamps it, and literally everyone's like, the fuck, dude? This line is for you to say one word. You said, like, a whole sentence. I hope you fucking die. This lady especially. This guy's like, oh, you scamp. This guy's like, oh man, I didn't even see this guy. It's impossible to look at your watch and not look like an asshole. So we find out that he's in Mexico City. We find out he's from Ohio, which made me look up where the Jeepers Creepers movies take place. They take place in Florida, which, you know, I didn't really think about that. And we see our boy in his truck. And it, just to let you know, in Jeepers Creepers 3, his truck is like a rolling booby trap. It's like, I don't know. I don't know if he's got time for that. And he sees a guy and he's like, oh, I could use a hand here. I don't remember him talking, ever. But I mean, it's a comic, so I guess... I feel like you could have done it without the caption bubble and it would still be effective. Because I know that's him, because those pearly whites. And we see Devin. He's on like a really old looking school bus, but it's painted beige to indicate it's a tour bus. A fat, dumb American gringo spills water on him. It's full of gringos. And we see that he's here. I'm going to try. I looked up the pronunciation, so let's give it a shot here. The lost Aztec city of Teotihuacan. I nailed it. I gotta tell you, I nailed it. But there's another one. There's another pronunciation coming up. I just can't. I can't do it. So we see these, like, you've seen these in movies and stuff. And he's like on his tour guide. And he's like, sorry, tour guide, but I prefer my own private tour. Whoa, Devin's a little bit of a badass. And you know what? You know what the opposite of badassery is? Guided tours. So even though Devin has glasses and he's a bit of an egghead, he might be a cool guy. So he's looking for the Temple of the Feathered Serpent. And I think we all know where this is going. And there's so many signs here that tell you not to come in. But, you know, Devin, he even talks about it. He says, my Spanish is rusty. Like, I wish... Every time... Okay, my Spanish is rusty. The signs say, Devin, come on in, right? Ooh, Devin's a little bit of a prankster. I see Devin go in, and we see a very ominous-looking chute. So he's going into this Temple of the Feathered Serpent that he's definitely not supposed to be in. And he's looking at some hieroglyphics, I guess you would say. Maybe some boss reliefs are more not on a wall. So somebody's like, we're not supposed to be in here. Ah! So we know that Devin is a little bit of a skittish guy. And I feel like if you're looking up dragon stuff, you can't be skittish. Because, look, dragons aren't real. But once you go looking for dragons, they're going to start manifesting. So you better be a badass because you're going to have to be dealing with them. So the kid's like, who's that guy? And then this is, okay, I got some shit queued up. This is
Quetzalcoatl.
Quetzalcoatl. See, let's hear another.
Quetzalcoatl.
Yeah, see, I know I've seen that word in a textbook back in the day, but Jesus. I don't even think my teacher tried to pronounce that. And he's eating a guy. And he tells the kid about Aztec sacrifices. Now, these are some cool pages right here. So he sees, the Aztecs kept a whole stable of young men at the ready for their rituals. Okay, see, I think this is the writer maybe poking a little bit of fun at the director, writer of the movies, because that guy was also found guilty of performing oral sex on a 14-year-old boy. So, you know, it's a stable of young men. And they show, like, look at that. That's cool and terrifying. So it shows the Aztec high priest tear this kid's heart out with a dagger, which, yeah, these panels, they look pretty dope, but you know I can't show everything. So he rips this kid's heart out, and he offers it up to the sun, and then our boy JC, you know what, I feel like JC wouldn't really have an issue with modesty, but I guess so, and he feeds him the heart, and this kid that he's telling the story to is like, he freaks out, which, first of all, I've never heard a verbal story and screamed. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sure there's some fantastic verbal storytellers out there, some great campfire stories that have been told, but I've never audibly yelled at hearing a story. And also, this kid is at Aztec temples. Literally, that's almost the entire bulk of anything I've ever been taught about. Like, Aztecs, Mayans, it's like, boom, let's talk about the human sacrifice, because it is sexy, am I right? So, this kid is just like, he's obviously a kid, but I have no idea what his age is, and it's like, how do you even go to Mexico, go to the Aztec temples, and not know vaguely about human sacrifice? You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, what did they tell the kids about Aztecs? Because it's like, blah, 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 human sacrifice, sun gods, yeah. So the kid runs off, he tries to get him, and he's, Devin runs out of the temple, and he's greeted by the police, and this is where I shine. Because Spanish is my jam. He says, hands on top of your ears, pervert. That's the direct, hands on top of your ears, pervert. But, I mean, we know, like, that's the sort of direct, immediately direct translation, so you know. But hands over your head, pervert, is what we're going for. So he gets released from the police station, and they tell him that he can never go back to the temples, which I feel like is going to fuck up his thesis a little bit. And a random, terrifying Mexican woman, not terrifying, she's just like, I feel like they don't age well. Is that racist? And she hands him this thing wrapped, and it's this, and it looks like the daintiest dagger I've ever seen. And she just disappears mysteriously. Wait, where did you get? I just have so many. And I feel like old people, they shouldn't be able to have that superpower. But he like reaches into it, and he is the worst guy at picking up knives. So of course that sets off JC's spider sense. And this is the last page. Find me, if you dare. And then he's nude here. Why was he covering up for the Aztecs? But I guess when you're in your, like, murder cave, you can do what you want. And for some reason, I just pictured he would have nipple rings, but I don't know. That might just be me.